or you went to a workshop once, you just turn up to this 3-day challenge. That may keep you going for the next week, may keep you going for a month. But if you're not consistently tuning in, you miss out on that. And that applies to everything. We know that, right? If you work out for a day, do you see results? If you work out for a month, do you see results? You have to work out consistently to see results in everything. And so the second thing is consistency. And that's why the Genius program I've created is weekly. That's why I try and do launches and lives and challenges like this regularly so that we can re-galvanize our focus, right? Now, that's the second principle. And the third principle in any transformation is community. Without community, you don't have the accountability. You don't feel that responsibility. You don't feel that growth with everyone else in your area. And so in the Genius community, for example, we have thousands of members from over 140 countries in the world. And so people are building new friendships, building new families, building new communities. So it's really important to have these 3 C's in your education. So we talked about the split between entertainment and education. And I want you to think about, right, now that you've made your split in your educational tract, what do you have from coaching, consistency, and community? And what do you not have? Become aware of it. See, awareness gives you the ability to adapt, right? So first you have to become aware. Then you gain direction from a mentor or a coach. So first you become aware of what direction you need, what you need support with. The second thing you need is direction. So you go to the mentor, you go to the coach, you gain direction. The third thing is you now start adapting and adjusting in your own life. The fourth is you practice, and make progress. And fifth, you transform. That's adapt, A-D-A-P-T. First, become aware. This is the tool that I want to give you today. First, become aware of what in your life is not going the way you want it to and what area of your life is missing, right? Second, D, find direction from your mentors and coaches. A, adjust. Now you're trying to apply what you're learning from them. 4, practice. You have to repeat it. You can't just practice it once, you have to repeat it. And 5, you transform. Remember that A-D-A-P-T, adapt. Awareness, direction, adjusting and application, practice, and then transformation. Ali Harris is asking a great question. Ali says, is it important to choose our coaches wisely? Those that perhaps resonate with us and our morals? Ali, exactly. So here's how to pick a coach. The coach should be someone where your values and morals align. They should be moving in the direction in their life, in a direction that you want to move in. And that doesn't mean in the form of career, but it means in the form of progression, ambition, etc. And it should be a coach that you feel cares about you, right? The coach has to care about you, has to have some compassion for you, and has to really believe in you as well. This is great. Thank you, Ali Harris, for your wonderful question. If you have any more questions, keep them coming. Ashley says, do I need a coach that I personally know, or can I consider you as my coach and that's sufficient? So actually, there are different types of coaches. There are coaches like me, and I hope we do get to meet one day at an event or something like that. I'd love to meet you. And I hope you remind me of this, Ashley. I will try and remember as well. And so you have coaches like that. And then you also have coaches in your life that maybe are hand-holding on a daily basis as well. Right? You have that community. So yes, there can be coaches. For example, I feel coached by Martin Luther King or Einstein or Steve Jobs, even though I've never met them. But I also am coached by people that I know, and you need both in your life, right? It's really, really important. In the Vedic tradition, it's known as Vani and Vapu. So Vani is the mentor that you may never meet, but it's their instruction, their words that matter. And Vapu is the mentor that you have in your life in the physical presence. Thank you so much for this, everyone. This is amazing. Community is hard for me. Need some help building my community and tribe, says Jeannie Steele. Who else said that as well? I need direction to find community. How can I work on community, says Emily Ellis. And this is why I focus on doing the Love Your Life launch like this, and challenge like this, because that way you have community here, right? I want you to connect with like-minded people. Community is where you're all moving in the same direction and you're making a decision in your life to drive forward, right? So I think it's really, really important. Thank you so much for sharing all of these principles with me and your ideas and what's on your mind as well. So now there's a question here from from Ravik. Is it a bad practice to self-coach yourself at times? It's really important to self-coach yourself. Actually, you asking yourself what type of coach you need is coaching yourself. So you are always coaching yourself and you have coaches. You must coach yourself. It's a great point, Ravik. Thank you. Kimberly says, can we have coaches for every goal, life, a different coach for career and a different coach for the skill? Absolutely. And I'll tell you why. Because here's the thing. When you have coaches for different areas, it becomes better because we make two mistakes. The first mistake is we take all of our problems to one person, right? And usually it's our partners. We take all of our problems to one person. Or we make the opposite mistake where we take, we don't take all of our problems to one person. We take all of our problems to everyone. And the answer is to take each of our problems to specific people, to particular people, rather than just throwing it out there like that. So this is what you want to ask in your life. Do you have coaching? Do you have consistency? And do you have community? We talked about how to pick a coach. Now let's talk about how to build consistency. And I just spoke about with Oprah, but I think it's such a powerful point. It's from my book, actually, upcoming book in September, Think Like a Monk, where I talk about the time method. And these are 4 daily practices that I believe everyone should do. The T stands for thankfulness, right? The T stands for thankfulness. You have to find thankfulness in your day, and it's just 5 minutes of being thankful. The I, and let's talk about thankfulness. Thankfulness isn't just feeling it, it's expressing it, right? It's expressing that thankfulness. It's not just feeling it, it's expressing it. You have to say it, send that voice note, send that message. The I is inspiration. We focus so much on finishing books. We so much on finishing podcasts, right? But it's about practicing. It's not about finishing, it's about applying and practicing. What can we apply and practice? Just one thing a day. M is for meditation, which we said was an appointment, scheduling time with yourself. And E is exercise, right? E is exercise, finding movement and dance in your life. So time is a perfect way of finding consistency in your life. I really, really want you to find time in the day. It could be 5 minutes for each of them, but it will make such a big difference. Even if you just exercise for 5 minutes a day, right? 5 minutes a day, that's all you need to do. So I really, really want you to think about that. What are the 5 minutes a day that you can do 4 of those things? That's all it is, right? Thankfulness, inspiration, meditation, and exercise. So right now, I want you to write down one thing you're thankful for. Write it down in the comments. Tell me the one thing. This is interactive. We're doing a workshop. Tell me the one thing that you're thankful for right now. I'm going to answer questions in between because I really like your questions. Rishabh says, how can we stop conflict with ourselves? Like if my mind is saying to do a thing and heart is saying the opposite, how can we deal with that? Okay, good question. So what you have to ask yourself is write down what are the pros and cons of each. Right? Write down what are the pros and cons of each and start making a move in the right direction rather than trying to make a decision. I'm looking at some of your questions. Kelly says, when you say about being thankful and expressing it, does prayer count? Absolutely, Kelly. Prayer is such a beautiful way of expressing gratitude and recognizing grace in your life. That's wonderful. Luciana says, my mistake is that I take all my problems and keep them internally. I don't take them to one person or a lot of people. How can I change this? So, Luciana, you've opened my eyes today as well, and you've shared that with me. So we have 3 ways of dealing with our problems. We keep them to ourselves, we run to everyone, or we run to one person. And the idea is to have a community to share our challenges. And therefore we share in other people's challenges too. This is why I believe so much in community. You have to find people in your life that care about you and have expertise in particular areas. And this is something we have to create. This is the family that we weren't born with, right? This is the family that we have to create. This is the family that we have to aspire for. You have a family that you're born with and a family that you have breakthroughs with, right? You have a family that you are born with, and you have a family that you're going to borrow energy from and create with, and you have to create that family. That family is yours to create, right? This is great. So now, once you've said what you're thankful for, the next thing I want you to do is, what is a piece of advice, one piece of wisdom, one quote, one simple message that you're going to try and live in your life, that you're going to try and practice in your life? What is that? What is that thing that you're going to do? And I want you to pick it right now. What is the one thing that you're going to practice every day for the next 7 days? And I want you to be explaining it in a very simple way. Like, I'll give you an example for me. Something as simple would be, every day I'm going to look at one quote this week, and I'm going to try and practice that quote. And I'm going to skim through. I've got an early copy of my book. It comes out September 8th that I'm just looking through right now. And I'm just going to pick a quote, and I'm going to see which quote I want to try and practice. Right? Okay, so one of my favorite principles in this book is the idea that, listen to this. So this is a quote from the Dalai Lama, who says, "Every day, think as you wake up. Today, I am fortunate to be alive. I have a precious human life. I'm not going to waste it." So the one piece of inspiration, for example, is every day when I wake up, I'm going to stick that on my ceiling when I wake up. I'm going to stick it next to my mirror when I'm brushing my teeth on a little post-it note, and I'm going to repeat it to myself. I want you to choose one piece of insight. It could be being kind. It could be being loving. It could be being supportive, whatever it is for you. For me, it's recognizing that I'm grateful to be alive, right? That is an example. So you just want one thing, one piece of inspiration that you're going to keep right there. And I'm giving you this all sneak previews from my book that I was just sharing with Oprah as well. But that's what I want you to think about, right? So that is the inspiration. Once you've written down what you're going to do as your inspirational insight, the next M is for meditation. I want you all to start. And I don't want you to do these all at the same time, by the way. I want you to choose one after all of this is over, to choose one to practice. You may start a small schedule with yourself where you spend 5 minutes in stillness with yourself, to just sit, to listen, and appreciate the time. And so I want you to write down which meditation you're going to do. It could be one of the ones that I did in my 20 days. And finally, E, exercise. What exercise are you going to do for just 5 minutes a day? That's all it takes. It makes huge differences. It makes a huge difference. So I really want you to plan it. I'm just going to have some water. I really want you to plan this now. This is an interactive live session where you're actually figuring out what you want to do, and then we're going to build on it, right? And then we're going to build on it. So I really, really want you to do that. I really want you to figure this out. Rachel, I'm just reading Rachel's comment. She says, heard this quote today, which encourages me to be my true self. Living our own truth isn't always comfortable, but ultimately it takes us where we need to go. Rachel, that's beautiful. And I would ask you, what does it mean to live that? You want to unpack that. So don't just pick a quote that you like, but really unpack what that means to you, right? This is amazing. This is incredible. Honestly, this is so powerful that right now we're actually creating the plan for our life. So what I want to talk about, we started talking about education and entertainment. We talked about the 3 C's of transformation. We talked about time as a way of actually building that consistency. And now what I want to talk to you about is something that's really been close to my heart right now. And I realize that we're going through our own challenges and our tough times and everything that's happening. And I really, really want to address it. So realize this. If you keep going, and really right now, I want you to listen, I want you to give me all your presence, I want you to give me all your attention. If